Hi everyone, happy Monday. It's December the 19th and it's one more week to holiday break. I know how excited everybody is, but we had a little talk this morning and we decided that even though we have 3.5 days left, it's still time that we need to stay focused. We need to work as hard as we can and give the best effort we can so that we can just have an amazing break. We can get all the work done that we need to, and then we can just really enjoy and relax the holidays with our families. So, this week, what we're doing in math is that we're still working on our measurement. So we're collecting data, we're still plotting our data, but the biggest thing is that we're using rulers to really help us get our measurement skills down. So we've been doing a lot of measuring, but now what we have to do is kind of convert our measurements. So we're still sticking with inches, so we're not moving on into the metric system with centimeters. But what we really want to do is we want to convert inches into feet and inches and back and forth. So if I give you ruler lengths in inches, that you can tell me how many feet and inches is that measurement. Or if I give you feet and inches, how many total inches is that measurement? So we did some practice today, and the students were able to convert back and forth. So this is an example of what we did. So there's 4 different students here, and they were measuring how far they could blow like a pattern block. We actually did this in class as well, so the students were familiar with that. And I allowed each student to have 2-inch rulers to kind of help them solve this problem, or these problems. And I said, this is actually a really hard thing. I said, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I go into Siri or I go into Google and I say, hey, can you convert this to this? Because I just don't feel like doing the math. But I told them, doing it this way, they're already going to know how to do it. And they're just at that higher level of thinking because we were talking about graphs and we're plotting things and we're collecting data. But now we're collecting data, we're plotting data, and we're learning how to measure. So there's a lot of different things going on. So when we do go into measuring bigger things and doing a lot more ruler work, they're already going to know how to use an inch ruler. Even we were working with yardsticks as well. So for the first one, it says Benjamin measured 15 inches. So I said, okay, now we know how many inches it is, but we also want to know now how many feet and inches is that measurement. So I told them, take 2 rulers, and I said, well, how many inches is 1 ruler? And everybody looks at it, oh, of course it's 12, it's 12. And I said, okay, so how many feet do I have in my hand? And some students will say, well, I know that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I said, okay, so we have 1 foot, so that's 12 inches. How many more inches do I have to go to get to 15? So we could say, you could count on your fingers. You can do 12, 13, 14, 15. Or you can take what you know, the 15 inches, and minus the 12 inches we have here in our hand, and you would get 3 inches. So I know that 15 inches equals 1 foot, 3 inches. So if we butt them up against each other, okay, 1 foot, 3 inches is 15. So I'm going to go over to my chart here, and I'm going to write 1 foot and 3 inches. And today we even learned what these little hash marks mean. That 1 means a foot, and 2 mean inches. We could abbreviate it by using FT or IN, or we could write the whole thing out. Use foot or feet, or we could just write inches. Obviously, this takes a little bit longer. A lot of the students were really loving the little hashtag things or hash marks, so we just did it that way. I said, as long as you label it, I don't really care what you do. You can abbreviate it, you could write it all out, or you could use the little lines, just as long as you do it the right way and everything's always labeled. So let's just do one more together, because like I said, we already did this in class, but I just wanted to let you know kind of how I'm letting students use manipulatives and how we're thinking about how we can convert inches to feet and inches. So the second one was 18 and a half. So 18 and a half, I could say again, well, I know 1 foot equals 12 inches, so it's not quite to 2, because if I had 2 of these, that would be 24 inches or 2 feet. So I know I don't need the whole thing, so I know I already have 1 foot. So if 1 foot equals 12 inches, then I have some left to go. So I have 18 and a half. So again, I could either count up from 12 and do 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and a half. So it'd be 6 and a half, or I could do 18 and a half minus 12. So either way, I can use my rulers to help me. So I have 12 inches, and then I'm going to use the second ruler to help me count up. So I know that 18.5 inches equals 1 foot and 6.5 inches. So again, as we continued on, I said I think the students being able to use the rulers really helped them because they can visually see how far they're going. So that, and they all know that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So that's when I would say, how many feet am I holding? And they'd kind of look at me. And I'd say, how many feet am I holding? And they said, well, you're only holding 1. So I said, exactly. So you already know that you have 1. So I think this really helped. There was a more of a challenging worksheet as well that I gave them to be able to convert it, and they had to use like multiple rulers. I have a lot of rulers, but I don't have enough for everybody to have 4 or 5. So it was really interesting to see the strategies that they used with only having 2 rulers, but they maybe needed 4 or 5 rulers. So what I really want to drive home is that there are 12 inches in a foot, and as long as you know that, you can figure everything else out by either adding or subtracting, or counting using your ruler, or again, if you want to count using your fingers. Obviously, I would like you to stay away from that. I'd like you to do adding and subtracting, but if this helps, whatever helps you to get the right answer. And then once I was able to explain it, we even reviewed it. The students did a really great job. So that's what we're working on. We'll probably finish this investigation up this week. I'm not going to be mean and give the test this week. We do have a couple kind of quizzes just to see where everybody stands. So when we get back in January, I would like to do a little bit of a review, maybe a day or 2 of a review, and then we'll have the test, and then we'll move right on into Unit 3. So we are moving right along. I think everything's going great. I have some fun activities planned for this week because I know everybody's ready to get out of school, but we're still going to do some fun things. We're going to learn. We're going to problem solve. There's a lot of great things that we're going to be doing. So I want to take pictures and share them on Class Dojo. So again, if you haven't signed up for Class Dojo, you can. If you need me to re-email you, I will be more than happy to do that. But have a wonderful Monday night, and I will see you all in the morning. Bye.